I love tricks where somebody thinks of a word and you have to try and figure out what they're thinking, because words are fun to play with. You know, you can do it with a deck of cards and say, oh, are you thinking of the six of spades? That's good too. But when we're thinking of a word, you can draw a picture. They could be drawing a picture in their head of what that object is, and you can have a little more fun with it, kind of like a book test. But in this trick, I've done it with a set of words on these cards, and these are just some random words we would show our spectator. I've got all these words. Some of them are short, some of them are long. There's girl, octopus, doctor, zebra, lasso, pirate, uncle, all kinds of words. Every one of them different. I think there's about 28 in this particular stack of cards. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix them up a little bit. In fact, I'm going to have you cut this little packet wherever you want, just like that. That's good. And you'll notice there's nothing on the backs of these, so there's no way we can know what words are on the other side of any particular card, especially if we mix them up like we've been doing, right? And so I'm going to ask you to go ahead and cut to your heart's content. They can cut the cards. Do it again if you want to. Once you've decided on where you're going to cut the cards, then we'll have you select one. Let's do that. So we would spread the packet out, say touch the back of one of them, anyone you want. Let's say they take this one. Now they're going to look at that card without showing you, but you're going to still know what the card is, okay? So you might say, I want you to picture what this object is in your head, and so that I can read your mind. And you can play up on that however you want. For this demonstration, it won't take a lot of time doing that, but I can just tell you that I will know what they're thinking of, and I know what word is on that card. So you'd say, okay, you're thinking of something that it's like a food. I believe it's a food. It's a fruit. Are you thinking of an apple? Let's see if that's what it is. And sure enough, that's what they were thinking of, as an apple. Okay, so here's what you're going to need to perform this trick or use this packet of cards to do mentalism effects. You're going to need to get some card. You're going to need 28 cards. I use bicycle double blanks, and then I write on one side, obviously. I like bicycle cards, and they feel good. They're smooth, and you know, it's like handling cards because that's what they are. And it's only about $10 for a deck of these. There's 52 or maybe 54 in a deck, but they're blank on both sides so that you can use them for something like this. If you don't want to do that, you could get a bunch of jokers, just regular playing cards, and get a bunch of jokers and write across the face of those jokers. You could also get, that bicycle has cards that are with backs on one side and blank face cards. You could do that. I like the idea that these cards are blank on the back side, the non-word side, because obviously they're not marked, so I can't tell what the words are. So I think that makes it stronger. You can make your own, get some kind of card stock, and cut it and write the words on it however you want to do that. The point is, it doesn't matter what you use. I use something thick so that the ink doesn't go through, and I like the idea of writing with big, bold magic marker cards. So first thing you need, magic marker and a bunch of, in fact, 28 different cards. Now, the next thing you need to do is you need to know this sentence. You'll recognize this as a form of a sentence we used to use when you took a keyboard or typing class. We used to type out the sentence, "The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy sleeping dog." We've truncated that. I've made that a shorter sentence, and you're going to need to know this. This is the mnemonic system, or the memory system you're going to need to know. This will make sense in a few minutes. So just know this sentence. The quick brown fox jumps lazy dog. That's all I need to know. The quick brown fox jumps lazy dog. Now, why are we doing that? Because that sentence has 28 letters. Each one of those letters represents a word that begins with that letter. The quick brown fox. I'll put it on the screen vertically so you can see what I mean. Each of those letters is going to represent a word that's in this packet. So let's take it a word at a time. The first word is the, T-H-E. And the reason why we need to know that sentence is because we need to know the order of these words. These words all begin with those letters. So for example, the only word in this whole packet that begins with the letter T is this one, tree. So that's the first one in the stack. then there's an H word, hat, and then there's an E word, egg, T-H-E. So I know the order of these words because I know the order of that sentence. I know that it goes tree, hat, egg because of T-H-E. Now, you might ask yourself, well, how am I going to remember the E word is an egg or that the H word is a hat? Well, first of all, it's actually way easier to memorize than you think. Also, you can associate these words with the words next to them. So I just picture tree with a hat hanging on it, or a hat where an egg is pulled out of it or cracked inside it, or whatever absurd picture you want to remember. You only have to remember, in most cases, there's only one word for every letter, except there are two exceptions, and I'm explaining that to you, and they're pretty easy, but we'll get to that. So T-H-E is the word the, and that's the words in the stack, tree, hat, egg. So I know they're in that order. What does that mean? That means if I know the bottom card of the stack, I can know the next word in that order. So if we cut the stack like this, cut the deck like this, and I look at the bottom card, I can see, just by peeking at it, that the next word, since this is B, bear, the next word begins with an R because of the quick brown, B-R-O-W-N. The next word is R. I happen to remember that the R word is the word river. There's two ways I remember it. One is, that's the R word I chose, and bears swim in rivers. So there's that too. That helped me remember the R word, the only R word in the stack is river. And am I right? It is, river. And I also know the next word is going to begin with an O, B-R-O, as in the quick brown fox, right? So which O is it though? I've got two O's in here. I've got the one in brown and I've got the one in fox. Well, I happen to know, I'm just going to remember, the O word in brown is oil. How do I remember that? I have an absurd picture. I have a bear going into a river of oil. Oh, so I remember this O represents the word oil. Remember, it's B-R-O, and then the next word is W. And the W, the only W word in this stack, is the word whale. If you can't remember that, I remember that there's a bear going into a river of oil where he sees a whale swimming. That whale has a giant nose, where we get to the N, N-O-S-E. Okay, so this is the mnemonic system. So I'm going to spell it all out for you so we can see what everything means. And that means the deck can be cut, cannot be shuffled, that it can be cut. And as long as you have a reference word on the bottom, you can see it, you'll know the rest of the order. Since I know this is egg, remember egg was my E word. So T-H-E, what's after egg? Well, it's got to be a Q because the sentence goes, the quick. So the next word is a Q, and the only Q word in here is a quilt. Easy to remember. The one after quilt is a U word. I happen to know it's an umbrella. Okay, I think you're getting the idea. Let's start from the top and we'll look at all of them. We go like this. We have T, H, and E, which is the word the, T-H-E. The next word is quick. So we're going to go like this. Our Q word is a quilt. Our U word associated with quilt is an umbrella. And the reason why I don't get that confused with the other U word is because I picture a quilt that's shaped like an umbrella, or an umbrella made out of a quilt. I can keep them together. And the next letter is going to be I, Q-U-I as in quick. And I know that that's ice. That's not that hard to remember. But if it is, I can remember I'm under an umbrella. Ice is falling on my head, whatever you want to do. It's raining cats and dogs. That's the C one, right? Quilt, umbrella, ice, cats. So you can use these absurd pictures in your head to remember which words are which, but also remember that each one is unique with the exception of those two. So that's the word quick, Q-U-I-C-K, the quick. The K word is a kite. That's not hard for me to remember. We were just picturing standing in the ice storm, raining cats and dogs. Maybe I'm flying a kite like Benjamin Franklin. So however you want to picture that, that helps me remember the right words. So let's get to the next word, the quick. We did brown. We already did that. So that's a bear in a river of oil where there's a whale with a big nose. B-R-O-W-N. The quick brown. And then the next one is fox. That's an easy one because there's just 3 letters. And there's the only word that begins with F in here is this one, which is fix. And then here's the other O. It's not the O in brown, right? Because we had the Bear River Oil. This O word is office. And you can remember that by we go to the office and get an x-ray, right? We're going to get something fixed at the office where we get an x-ray. That's one way to remember it. These all connect. So there was a bear in a river of oil where there was a whale who had a big nose. So he went to get it fixed in an office and got an x-ray. If you can picture that, you can remember the order as well as simply the quick brown fox, right? So it's really easy to remember. The next word, the quick brown fox, remember, is jumps with an S. And we're going to go with a J. That's the word joker. That's not hard to remember. We're working with cards, and this is a joker. Or you might say, my uncle was a joker. That's the word uncle. I had an uncle that was a joker, G-U-M-P, who loved to eat mangoes. So picture an uncle who loves mangoes, but he's also a pirate. So picture your uncle, the joker, who's eating mangoes as a pirate. Instead of a peg leg, he used to have a snake for a leg. This absurd picture helps you remember which words we're going to be pulling from in our memory. All right? So we have the quick brown fox jumps. And then the last 2 words are lazy and dog. So lazy is lasso, an apple, a zebra, and yellow, L-A-Z-Y. Pretty weird words, but they're easy to remember. A lasso is the only L word in the group. I can lasso an apple, and I will go to grab my apple with my lasso when it's stolen by a zebra, but not just any zebra. It was a zebra who wasn't black and white. He was turning yellow. It wasn't feeling well. And so he had to go to the doctor, who was an octopus and a girl. Okay, so these strange sounding words are by design because they're easy to remember. So all I have to do now is keep this stack in this order, but I can mix it up in a way I can cut it. I don't need it to start with the and end in girl. I can break it somewhere like this. So I know that I know what nose means. If I can peek at the bottom card, I know where I'm at in my word pictures. The quick brown, that N is nose, fox. So the next word after the nose, in other words, the top card, the next word is going to be F. And in this stack, that's the word fix. And from there, I can keep going. In fact, let's just do a little practice demonstration. Let's cut the card somewhere. And I took a look at the bottom card. I saw the word snake. So that tells me what's next, right? So remember where snake was? The quick brown fox jumps. Remember my joker uncle who loved mangoes but was a pirate, had a snake for a leg? Okay, so now that snake he used to use as a lasso jumps lazy. So I know that this next card is the L word, and that's a lasso. So here we go. I know the next card is going to be an apple, because now I'm just spelling lazy, right? Apple. I know the next word is going to be the Z word. You probably already know what it is. What was the Z word? It's zebra. But it wasn't a black and white zebra. What color was he? He was yellow, right? So we've got a yellow zebra. The quick brown fox jumps lazy dog. So we know this is D. Remember that was a doctor who was an octopus, O, and a girl. And now we're at the end of the stack, so we go back to the beginning. So the next word is going to be the very first word, which was the T word in the, and it is tree. Remember what was hanging in the tree? It was a hat. There's our H word. And out of the hat, we pulled an egg. And then from the egg, we go T-H-E, the quick. So now we're at the Q word, which is quilt. Not a lot of Q words, so that's easy to remember. Then we need the W, or rather the U that comes after the Q in quick. And remember, we're going to use umbrella, a quilt shaped like an umbrella. The quick, what's the next word? It's an I, and it's ice. We're in an ice storm under that umbrella. Then we have C, where it's raining cats and dogs. And then a K, our only K word is a kite. So we got to the quick, and now we're at brown. Remember the B word, what is it? It's a bear. swimming in a river of oil, where there's a whale with a really big nose. We already got to the quick, brown, and then we're back up to the F, which is fix. So he had a big nose, so you're going to get it fixed. And to do that, he had to go to an office where they could take an x-ray. The quick brown fox. And now we're back to jumps, J. That's a joker. That's my uncle. That is an M word, mango. He likes to eat mangoes. He's a pirate, P, with the snake. So that's how you remember it. You're using the quick brown fox. You're using the word absurdity association and just memorizing what these words are. And then you can do this trick. Now, when you perform this, you want to do this in a more mysterious way. You cut the deck all you want. Have someone take a card out. If you do it this way, where somebody takes a card out, you want to make sure that you put the cards back in order like this. This half goes over here because you want to take a look at this bottom card. That card, since that's an egg, that tells me what this one is going to be. T-H-E, right? And then the next one will be Q. So I already know this is quilt. So this is where your acting and your magician comes out. So I want you to think of what that object is and maybe have them have a word picture. You can play with that. Don't just call out quilt. Say, I feel like you're feeling some kind of warmth, maybe something that maybe a mother or grandmother would have had or even made for you, or maybe you would have made one. But I'm feeling like something that's very comforting, like a blanket or a quilt. Or are you thinking of a quilt? You want to be a little more of an actor when you reveal these words. But for the mechanics and the memory system, you've got it now. The quick brown fox, jumps, lazy dog. Remember those. You can use other words if you want to. You don't have to use the words that I'm using here. I think they're easy to remember, but if there's another word that you like better than hat for the H word, you can do that. Just make it one that you can associate very quickly and remember. So to set yours up, I would write down the quick brown fox jumps lazy dog vertically, like I have on the screen, and just fill in the letters you want to, or the words you want to use for those letters, and make your own. You'll need 28 cards. You'll need that memory system. You're ready to go. Easy to do. Blows people away, especially if you play it up just right. These look like absolutely bizarre, random words from nowhere, and yet you'll know which one they're thinking of without any markings on the cards at all. Okay, so enjoy that quick brown fox mentalism trick.